Hi everybody. I had to do this reading today because I woke up this morning and what flashed through my mind was a phrase, Rick Gates, it's all in the charges. And I thought, oh, I'm not a morning person, I'm doing too much on this stuff, it's really invading my subconscious, I really need to get out more. And anyway, I sat down to do a reading for you and I got maybe 10 minutes in and we had a mini blackout. And I'm not technologically clever enough to sort it out and merge videos or something, so I've had to start again. So I'll show you exactly where I got up to in the cards and what I took from that so far. So I started musing after a cup of coffee, the charges. So Rick Gates, these were seriously heavy charges. It was crimes against America or something. We're not just talking money laundering here. These are crimes that either carry life sentences or, in fact, I don't know quite legally, but I think they used to be capital crimes, and depending what state it was. I'm not suggesting he's going to get the death penalty, and certainly not now, but they're big crimes. And they pleaded not guilty together. I said in a previous video he would talk, now he has. So let me show you what had turned up in the reading so far. Just really fascinating. Okay, I was starting with the Celtic Cross. So what I got first in the middle was the Knight of Cups. So that is an offer or an opportunity. It would no doubt be the plea bargain itself. Now the second card puzzled me for a moment because it was the Knight of Swords, which I've described in previous readings as hasty revenge, and I was thinking, oh no, what does that mean here? You know, Muller's not hasty and Rick Gates even doesn't strike me as hasty. And then it hit me that there was a time factor with this, that there was actually pressure on Muller to get this aspect of the investigation done very quickly. Maybe it was very quickly before Rick Gates could change his mind, or possibly before someone got to him, or in order to make other things fit together. For whatever reason, uncharacteristically, this had to be done very quickly. The third card acting on the scenario is the card of you give me something, I'll give you something. So if we just start with those three, it makes perfect sense. He was offered the plea deal and he took it, but it meant that the Muller team had to act extremely quickly to extract things. Maybe it was before documents were destroyed, or, you know, e-trails were destroyed or whatever. That would make sense. In any event, to me, it is very clear there was a crucial time element. And that was where we're at in general. I just pulled up at the root of the reading Temperance, which is much more like Muller's normal sort of personality, if you like, much more moderate, wanting to integrate all the information, be very measured before you move on. That makes perfect sense. So he wouldn't have been comfortable with this rush. So, recent past for Rick Gates, well, that would be the actual arrests. He's gone from being quite wealthy with the Five of Pentacles to losing just about everything. Everything is on the line here for Rick Gates for obvious reasons. Overseeing the reading, judgment, and judgment of the American people. So you've got the angel of judgment. Was it Gabriel with the trumpet? Please correct me if I'm wrong, dear viewers. And people rising up. I'm beginning to see, because of this haste, okay, Remember that flash I had this morning? It's in the charges. The answer is in the charges. Well, because he was working with Manafort, who was the campaign chairman, and we know Manafort was manifestly corrupt, meaning Rick Gates was too, but he was there every single day, knew everything that went on. And I think what this is saying here is, how did that money come back to the campaign? So there's all that stuff about Manafort and Gates' personal money laundering, but this is about the money laundering in the campaign. And I think this is going to be revelations of Republican Party members who were involved. So if Manafort secured money from corrupt regimes, how did it get into the campaign funds? Well, the fairies didn't do it, love. No. So Rick Gates knows exactly how it got there. I think that indicates more Republican involvement than maybe I'd appreciated. You guys might have already been tripped off to that. I sort of thought, but that's what I'm getting there. Unsurprisingly, in short-term outcome, slings and arrows, pressure going both ways, whether you're the person firing the arrows, which could be like grand jury testimony questions being fired at someone, or putting them out. Rick Gates isn't in a strong bargaining position, so I don't think he's putting them out anymore. I think he's receiving them. Also, Paul Manafort is a hardcore criminal dressed up in an Armani suit. So he would be getting threats, I think, about talking, and he has talked, and I think maybe that's what this hastiness is about. Pressure like he's never experienced. This would not be pretty. Okay. What is the role of this? The Empress. The Empress is a mother figure, a younger mother figure, a very powerful woman. I think he did this for his wife and his kids. Obviously, that's not a psychic miracle. I think he realised he had to do it because he wouldn't see his kids again outside of wearing an orange jumpsuit for many decades. I still don't know if he'll escape jail time, but he was looking at a mega sentence. Literally a life sentence, so I think he did it for his wife and kids. Acting over that, yes, he had to divulge the group work. This is people working together, the black money, where it came from, where it went, the wheels of the black money. He has told the whole story. Oh my God. The environment. Ace of Pentacles. All right. Things hidden behind the hedge. This came up in my previous reading. It's about money, but also, as I often say, fool's gold, being sucked in by the money. He's sure as hell paying the price for getting that freebie. He could have just stayed in the corporate world, earned a big salary, had a very nice life. But he decided he would go that extra mile or 10 and became corrupt. And now he's sure as hell being judged for it. He's actually bloody lucky he got a plea deal. And I think it was at the last minute. I think he held out and held out because I actually think he's afraid of Manafort. I mean, physically afraid of Manafort. Yeah, so yes, Ace of Pentacles coming up. Conflict, more conflict. This could relate to Rick Gates and Manafort, or it could relate to all sorts of conflicts. Could even be an internal conflict that he's had. But again, I'm getting the Republican vibe. I think this is going to set the cat among the pigeons with the Republicans. Once this is laid out for people, I think certain Republicans are going to have grubby hands or even blood on their hands and could be indicted themselves. But no matter whether that happens or not, there's going to be enormous conflict in the Republican Party over this. How the hell are they going to get out of this shitstorm? And I think they've been, tizzying around the edges, but they have no idea, most of them, the avalanche that's going to be coming down on their heads. No snowplow's going to get them out of this. So a little further out, King of Swords is coming, and we're looking at beheadings. We're looking medieval here. That old saying, Muller's going to get medieval on your ass. Look out. The storms are coming. The principled man of justice and truth is coming to a place near you very shortly. So Rick Gates is going to open this floodgate of murky Republican practices and murky money, grubby money from overseas. Further out, yes, people will be actually jumping on boats to get out as quick as they can from Washington. They could be indicted. I'm seeing multiple indictments here. This is Rick Gates reading, but what's become more interesting to me in the course of the reading is how it opens up these other indictments. Not just for the Trump family, which we know on some level are coming. This is the ultimate Republican nightmare. Well, viewers, thank you so much for tuning in again. I had to do that quite urgently, I felt, to get it out for you. But I just wanted to say one other little thing, or two other little things. The private readings are coming soon. I know I've been saying that for a while, but they're really close now. I will get back to you. The other thing was, just to lighten up after that rather full-on reading, the one I did on Harry and Meghan. And there's been talk over the years that maybe Harry isn't a royal at all. There was a scandal around Prince Harry's conception. And I decided quite deliberately before that reading I wasn't going to go there and left it alone. But a very astute viewer pointed it out to me. So in case you're interested, what happened was Lady Diana, it would appear, had an affair with an army officer during the time. Now you've got to remember that when she married Charles, she was in love. He wasn't. He was just another royal doing what they're doing for 1,000 years, which is you marry someone suitable, they're going to push out the heir and the spare, and then you go straight back to your mistress. And in his case, it was Camilla Parker Bowles. There was even talk that Camilla Parker Bowles chose Diana for him. The aristocracy live under other rules. Anyway, in any event, Diana admitted years later that she did have a series of affairs to try and make Charles jealous. Well, it spectacularly didn't work, it just didn't work. But one of the ones who was suggested was James Hewitt. Pretty sure his name was James, definitely Hewitt. And he was this very, sort of macho army captain, and she would go, and there's lots of footage of her going to his polo matches and flirting in skirts and stuff. And then not long after, when Harry was born, he looked the image of James Hewitt. And as he got to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, I'm not talking a vague similarity here, I'm talking the spit out of his mouth. So I'm just saying, I'm not going to read on it, but I agree with that viewer who said, maybe he's not a royal at all. So I wish them well. As I said at the time, I think they're going to be fine, at least for a few years. After that, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in anyone's relationship after 3 to 5 years. Short term, I think they'll be fine. All right, well, I think that was really interesting today, and I think look for some Republican heads to roll. Oh, okay, bye.